But this last time, I went with a friend of mine on this journey. We went up into Havana Vieja. She knew some people that lived way in one of those houses that are overlooking the plaza. And there's a husband and wife that lived up there. Oh, the view was absolutely gorgeous, but the steps to go up there were so rickety. I mean, you felt like you could die and collapse 3 stories down. And people living there, and we came in, and everybody came out of their homes to talk to us. And this husband and wife, they had 3 children. All 3 of them had fled to here, U.S. And not only them, but many others I talked to, I have the feeling that they're really getting tired of the triumph of the revolution. And so I don't know if that's just the people I talk to, or the people living in Havana Vieja on the top of rickety steps, or, you know, I think there's still a disparity of how people, I have another friend who does, well, anyway, she lives very, very well, beautifully, in fact. So there you go. I don't know. And then, oh, the other thing, I come back here and I talk to people, they say, you know, in the cities, there's always a communist spy on every block. So you have to be careful what you say. How do you answer all this?
Yeah.
Thank God for that.
Well, so one thing that you've addressed is the disparity. So the disparity comes about depending upon, you know, what sectors of employment and what your family connections are. So if you're a government employee, if your family is totally dependent on state salaries, whether it's a state enterprise or it's a government agency, these salaries will be paid in the national currency. And so those salaries will, you know, by our standards, will look really, really paltry. And this is in contrast to people who are now in this growing private sector, or who are being paid in coups. So even taxi drivers may earn a lot more than a government employee because they're getting paid in coups. So there's that disparity. The other disparity comes about from people who have family living abroad, because members of the family who are living abroad will send remittances back to Cuba. And if they send $100, that converts into 2,400 Cuban pesos, coups. So there's that kind of disparity. As to so the other question was about
Triumph of the revolution.
Triumph of the revolution. I think that people are not. It's not a question of being tired of the triumph of the revolution. People are frustrated because of these disparities. They are more aware. Cubans today are more aware of what's happening outside, because Cubans have unprecedented access to the internet today. So, for example, 10 years ago, people didn't have mobile phones. Now almost, I shouldn't say everybody, but a large majority of people have smartphones. Okay, now those smartphones have very limited internet access. They have 2G internet access. But you can go to any public park in a city, and there's Wi-Fi in the park. You buy a card for 2 kuk, and that's worth an hour of internet time at 3G speeds. Still not very good by world standards, but nevertheless it gives them internet access, a reasonable kind of internet access, and so people, you know, have this unprecedented connectivity to the outside world. So people are knowing more. They know what's going on outside of the world, and there's sort of this feeling that, well, that out in the outside world you have, you know, all these things going on, and these options that are still not available to everyday Cubans, mostly because of the blockade.
So I have a question, Sharat. I think Tony raised this issue of foot in the door. And societies have three classes. So there's the capitalist class, there's the petit bourgeois, and worker. And so all socialist countries have allowed, even Soviet Union under Stalin's time had certain amount of petit bourgeois enterprises. Yet it is a danger. I think you're right. The question I have is about large, like bourgeoisie. Okay, I understand there